Hey, welcome to A Moment with Matt. On this video, we're going to talk about David and the unwielded weapon. So you may have heard of this story before, and in the Old Testament, actually 1 Samuel 17, we get to read about David and Goliath. Young guy versus old skilled warrior, the underdog versus the champion of an army. And it's this great scene of just the underdog wins, the underdog goes through and he does it. But the story behind it, the setup to this great victory is what I want to reach out to you today about. You see, David went there. David was going to take some food to his brothers on the front lines of this army. And he's in doing so, he's passing by and he's going through the front lines of the battle, and he actually is hearing this guy Goliath shout out things that are offensive to him, that are against God, and that are offensive towards God and offensive towards the Israeli people. And David is like, dude, how can you guys keep listening to this? Why isn't anybody putting a stop to this? And so David goes and he's eventually taken to Saul, and Saul's like, okay, well, if you're going to fight this guy, I'm not just going to send you out there like that. I'm going to put, he puts the warrior stuff on. He gives him a tunic, he gives him a helmet, he gives him a sword. And David tries walking around with it and saying, look, man, this isn't me. I can't go to battle like this. I'm unfamiliar. When I was a shepherd, I had this rod, I had this slingshot, and I'm familiar with that. I've killed bears with this stuff, man. I can't walk around. I'm not the warrior that you think I am. I'm the shepherd that God knows I am. That's the piece I want to talk to you about. Because you can't take an unwielded weapon into battle. David was smart enough to understand that an unwielded weapon in battle would do you no good. And I want to tell you today, you have weapons in your arsenal and they are not being utilized properly. If they are, you need to hone those skills, you need to hone those weapons that you have, that you possess, because you have a specific set of weapons that are for your life, for your calling, for your destiny, whatever you want to call it. You were created for a very specific task, and only you possess the weapons that are going to win those battles that you're going to be in. But here's the thing, you cannot win those battles with an unwielded weapon. You can't win those battles with weapons that you're not familiar with. David knew it, and he said, man, I can't have these weapons. I got to take this stuff off. I can't fight this battle with things I'm not used to. Give me my slingshot, give me my staff, and I'm going to go do work. And if you're familiar with the story, David defeated Goliath. The Philistines were scattered, and they're like, oh man, our great champion is gone. The Israeli camp was, they're like, yes, we finally won, and let's go forward and conquer, right? The unwielded weapon was trouble in David's hands. But the weapon that he was familiar with, that's what gave him victory. That and God's power. But God gives us gifts and talents and weapons and whatever you want to call it. He gives us that stuff for a reason. And it is up to us whether we practice with that thing or not. This is what I want you to take away. You need to practice the things that you're given for the spiritual battles that you will face. Because the unwielded weapon will get you into trouble. You think it'll look cool. You think that this sword is awesome to look at, but when the time comes for you to go swing that sword and win the battle, if you're not used to swinging it, if you're not used to how it fits in your hand, how your arm feels when you swing, whatever it is, it's going to be trouble for you. You need to practice on your unwielded weapon. And here's another thing too. You can't think that because somebody else has a sword that you're going to use a sword too. You can't think because somebody has a rod that you're going to use that rod, or a slingshot, or a helmet. You have a very specific piece of weaponry. You need to learn how to use it appropriately. Hey, you guys have a great week. I'll talk to you later. Brush up on your weapons. Figure out what they are. Surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that are like-fitted, so that you can go further. Hey guys, that's all I have for you on today's Moment with Matt. If you're new here, please consider subscribing so that you don't miss any more content that's just like this. On this channel, we look at biblical truths to help us with daily motivation or real-world application. So please consider hitting the subscribe button if you think that's something that's interesting to you. As always, please give me a thumbs up that lets me know I'm doing a good job for you. If you do want to subscribe, click this button right here. And if you want to see the last video, there's a link to it right here.